Hey Aries, welcome to your mid-June check-in. I'm Amanda with Unseen Hands Healing. That's Coconut. I'm dog sitting, so we got extra special energy for your reading today. I'm choosing the Next World Tarot because if you checked out my New Moon in Gemini video, the reading for that, I really felt like this moon cycle is launching us through a portal, through an opening into a totally new world, into a totally new way of walking through the world. And so this Next World Tarot has the messages for us as we step through that portal here in the middle of June. So the three cards that came out for you here, we've got the Messenger, which is the Hierophant in the traditional tarot. Right, you can see there's someone here speaking from a podium, a message coming through. The Ace of Cups, the roots of water, and the Lovers. We are in Gemini season at the time of this recording, so the Lovers is the card representing Gemini. So there's this really is for this moment for you, Aries. There's a lot coming through with this message, and I'm going to start with the Ace of Cups. This is a lotus pod. The journey of the lotus, for those of you who are unfamiliar, the lotus grows up out of the mud, out of this primordial soup. I keep feeling primordial soup. All right, so growing up out of this primordial space through water. So unlike a plant that might be growing outside in a garden that pops through the soil and it's immediately in air, the lotus has a journey through these watery depths before it can pop up out into the air. And so this is really feeling like right now this portal for you in the month of June is about going through that journey from your roots up through these emotional waters before you can burst out into the air, into that space where you get to breathe and look around and survey the new scenery here. So the lotus is always moving towards the light, always moving towards that sun, that place where they can really then shine by blossoming. You can see all these other lotus that have come before this lotus. They blossom and then settle onto that lily pad where they can just then float easily on those emotional waters. And so I'm getting a really, this is really root chakra here with this Ace of Cups. This is so much about your roots and your ancestry, the people who have come before you, or perhaps, and we'll get to this with the Lovers, the people you have been before you now. There is something about the roots here, the roots of water, the roots of your emotional being, the roots of the way that you are an emotional being in this world. I think it's time to go back to those roots and take a look at who you have been before, who has come before you. What are your roots? What are your past lives, whether that is literal for you or metaphoric? Who are your past lives? Who are your people that you've been born from? What growth patterns are you following here? And get really, I'm feeling like you have not bursted up through that watery surface up into the area. You're still in the phase, you're up out of the primordial mud, but you're still journeying up through the water. So keep looking for that light. Keep looking for that light, because with the Ace of Cups, this is an offering, a new beginning. It's coming. But keep moving towards the light. Don't go back down to that mud. to the darker depths. Keep moving up, keep swimming up towards that light. And that is an emotional journey because you're moving through water. It's a very emotional journey. So be willing to travel through those waters in order to have that moment of new beginning where you burst up into the air. The air element is much more room to breathe, much more illumination and understanding in the mental sphere. So right now you're moving through those emotional watery depths. And then we have the Lovers here. I really like the imagery in this card because it's someone they are meeting themselves. The image that I got immediately, because on the person, the version of this person that is naked, there's a tattoo on their arm that says entropy. And I immediately got this image of a person looking in a mirror with a mirror behind them. And so the image is reflected doubly, and you can see yourself back, all of these images of yourself all the way back. And again, it's the same thing with like all these lotuses who have come before you, all of these selves, all of these past selves that you have been. I think it's time to meet your soul, yourself in the present. Looking in that mirror of all the fractals of all of the beings that you have been and all of the versions of yourself that you have been. And having this very divine sense of acceptance and understanding. I'm thinking a lot about forgiveness these days and what forgiving actually means. And I'm not the first to think this. Forgiveness is not so much about letting somebody off the hook for something that happened or letting yourself off the hook for doing something to someone else. It's not really about letting people off hooks and, you hear the thing of like, take the hook out of your own heart. Okay, whatever. The way that I access this notion of forgiveness is through acceptance. And so the image, again, I'm getting these like really cosmic type meta imagery here for you, Aries. I'm getting like this idea of zooming out even beyond a bird's eye view, all the way up into the cosmos, where you can actually imagine or sense or feel that entropy happening, that constant expansion without ceasing. And so if that is the case, if we're working with this theory of entropy and we've got this thing that's here and then it's just everything is always expanding, always moving out, then everything that has happened to you in your life, all of the yous that you have been, everything that happened to you that brought you pain, brought you to where you are now for a purpose. And whether you believe that all of that was designed ahead of time or whether or not, it's for your growth. Everything that happened to you brought you where you are now. And without those experiences, you wouldn't be the person that you are today. You wouldn't have had the growth that you have been able to have through those experiences. And so what I'm trying to get at is this gesture of the naked self, the soul, reaching out towards the human self in this gesture of such sweetness and such affection feels like forgiveness to me because it feels like acceptance. When you get that cosmic view of things and you see, oh, everything happened to me to bring me here where I am today, to bring me here for my highest good, greatest joy, and greatest growth. That's where acceptance can come in. And that's the closest thing to this idea of forgiveness that I can wrap my heart around. And that's what this feels like. The peace that comes from reaching out and saying, you're perfect. You're perfect. Just as you are right now. And everything that has brought you here was all, some of it was really fucked up and some of it was really beautiful, but it was all exactly how it needed to be. And now you're here. So I think this is your higher self, this messenger. I think these are the same beings. Your higher self coming through in this moment of reflection as you're moving up through that watery emotional depths. You meet yourself in cosmic, divine acceptance and affection. And it's at that time when you'll be able to burst through into the air. So now we can't ignore here, I just saw 1111 on the recording. So for those of you who are following your signs and synchronicities, there's one right there for you. Now, a more literal reading of this, we have the Ace of Cups, which is often a new beginning of some sort, a new beginning in love, a new emotional beginning, a new beginning from your heart space or for your heart space. And so with that and the Lovers here, it's like perhaps someone is going to meet someone who really allows you to see yourself through different eyes, allows you to see yourself from that soul perspective because they see you that way and they love and accept you divinely. And so through that love that you feel from this person, you'll be able to see yourself and love yourself and meet yourself in that way. All right, sometimes when we meet people who we're enamored by, what that is really showing us is our own divine, our own beauty. We're enamored with their beauty, but what we're seeing is a reflection of ourselves in their eyes. We're seeing our own beauty reflected back to us through their love and through our love for them. Because if everything, again, this reading is really meta, y'all, but if we are all one, if we are all connected, then that person is another version of you. That soul is this like entropic fractal of you. And so when you meet someone else, it is truly a reflection of you in some way. So for those of you who this is feeling like new love coming in here, that's more of the micro message or what could be happening in the earth plane that's reflecting this larger, very cosmic point of view message that I have for you all. So I'm going to take some clarifying cards on this in the extended version. So if this is really resonating with you and you would like to dive deeper into this Lotus journey and the Messenger and the Lovers, we will take some clarifying cards and see what we can, what more specific messages we can get out of here. So go down to the bio below, click the link to go over to Vimeo, and for a small fee, you can follow me into this deeper dive. If not, thank you all for joining me here. Please like this video if you are resonating with this message, share this work, and subscribe to my channel so that we can stay connected as we move into July. Take care, Aries.